Sometimes life gets away from you, or at least it does for me. And I have to take opportunities to kind of reel it in. All right, because I got a lot of projects going on, and I've got a lot of things that I'd like to see happen um, in the world that I live in. And so I've been creating gardens, and that's some rhubarb there, and these are potatoes. And so as the potato plant grows up, you pull some more material on it and just leave the top exposed, and yeah, and then you get more potatoes. Right? So that's the way that works. And when you stack up rocks, it kind of defines your space. But then sometimes chaos. I call that part of me Captain Chaos. And chaos happens, and it becomes maybe a least favorite part of my life, right? When I walk by that, I look at that as I'm like, that's probably not the way I want it to be for as long as it's going to be until I do something about it, right? And there's a lot of things in our life that we could kind of maybe compare that to. We've got the resources available to make really cool stuff happen, right? We've got the space in which to create really cool stuff. But if it's not really cool stuff, and if we don't like what it's looking like, and if it's been engineered in a certain way that has promoted a bunch of problems being maintained, this is what I like to introduce to people here at the Apocalyptic Ashram, Hawks Haven, is the ideas of how we can create change by action. Right? Physical, tangible change in our world, in the world that we want to experience right here and right now. And yeah, so this is my tripod today. I don't know if you guys, these pretty cool little rocks right here at one of the gardens. And I couldn't find my tripod that my kind friend presented to me, but I did find these, and so that's what's going to be holding you up here today. And so this I love this. Maybe I should use Amazon a little bit more often, because these rocks as a tripod. You think I'd be more prepared for things, right? But you know what? Maybe that's not who I'm supposed to be. Right? Maybe I'm not the one that's supposed to save you the hassle of watching how painful my life experience can truly be. Just kidding. It's not really that bad. Right? Oh, and then shit. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a little bit of a walkthrough. Let's just take a look at this real quick and see what we're really dealing with. Right? So what are we really dealing with here? We're dealing with we have the tools, we have the resources, we have a pond liner, right? That's a pretty big one. We got some chunks of wood, and we got a rooster over there, some background noise, and I've been just piling some brush over in this corner because when you build raised beds on top of organic material like that, it works like a big sponge. So anyway, that's what we're going to start with, and I'll try to talk while I'm doing this, and but sometimes I just kind of get in the groove, and that's where I get focused on. So you either like it or you don't. Alright, I think that's a good, let's go right there. I'm modifying them. I'm making them in a way that they're beneficial. So when I'm doing things like this, it's going from trash into treasure, right? And when it goes from trash into treasure, it goes from being a liability into becoming an asset. And when things become assets instead of liabilities, well, you don't have to spend as much money to live life. If you go to the gardening class at Home Depot, they're gonna tell you that when you build a raised bed, you need to go buy like 10 bags of soil, right? But that's not always the case. You can create abundance by what you have locally um, when you have more than just one thing. And when they don't break easy, that means that they're just not supposed to get broke, right? Or it means I need to work out more. I don't know. People say, like, hey, what gym do you go to? I say, this is it, man. This is what I do. And what I do is a diversity of things. So, like right now, I'm choosing to stretch my back a little bit while I pull these grasses to add those as a layer into the steel, right? And this is really heavy because it's really wet. This has been digesting for a while. This has been a bunch of mulch and just everything that has been found in the garden that I don't know. It just doesn't have it didn't have a home yet, but it was of an organic nature. Okay. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, we're already getting into the wet stuff. And although I don't like wearing shoes that much, I think there's enough thorns and stuff over there that I think I'd like to have shoes today. But when I'm doing this stuff, um, I get to see that I'm able to transform what I don't want into what I want, right? And if there's things that are undesirable that are growing in your life, then it's your duty to change those things the best way you know how, right? And if it's something that you don't know how to do, that's where we're living in the information age. If we don't know something, we ask, right? Maybe we don't have an internet connection. We don't have a device. But if you don't have a device, then you're probably not listening to this. But we have the ability to really learn and grow beyond what we've been advertised. I mean, because like good healthy soil would cost you maybe $20 a bag, right? But when we do it like this, we're creating it for free, and I don't have to risk getting in a car accident, getting pulled over by the police, for not being the right sticker or something on my car. Oh boy, that is some gooey stuff. Man, this is going to be great for a garden. I think I'm going to make this like a, kind of like a keyhole garden. So I'll probably bring like rocks over this way, and then go back in this way, and come out, and then finish the rocks this way. That's what I'm thinking so far. But, things change because, ideas come up and, or time and energy have their limitations. Right? So, and even if we don't get it all done today, I had a really good friend, and he was a very accomplished man. Like, this guy had done more than anybody I know. I mean, like, really, just really a cool guy. And I asked him, like, how do you do, and how have you done so much in your life? I said, your life has been an adventure, right? He says, well, I just work an hour a day. And I'm sorry, buddy. Gotta call bullshit on that. I said, there's no way that all of these things that you've done in your life that, and what I've seen right here on your property that you've accomplished has been done doing an hour a day. He said, I picked 3 or 4 things that I want to see changed in my life, right? Or things that I want to build, or things that I want to do. And if I spend an hour a day working on each of those things, at the end of the month, I put 30 hours towards what I want to see done. Versus if I just keep thinking I want to do it and don't do anything about it, it just doesn't get done. So that's where consistency matters, And he said, maybe the hour a day isn't something I want to do, but it's only an hour, right? So I can put up with it for an hour. But sometimes, if I'm motivated on that project, that hour turns into 6 or 10, right? And then when you start putting that level of energy towards what you want to see done, it happens. And it can happen almost like magic, because that's just too cool to bury. And so, an hour a day, towards the things that you want to see done. And that can keep changing if you want, or if it's something that you really, really want to see, perhaps you're going to you're going to stay focused on that, right? And if you need help on that, you can make a list. just like everything in life, sometimes there's distractions. And the distraction right now is that we got to go move the water to a new spot. Because this area is now fully saturated. Now time for this area. We got some strawberries that are holding on for dear life, and a datura, and we got a raspberry plant right there. We just love some deep water saturation. Alright, let's return to the previous Alright, let's move the hose again. See, this is a good workout. It's a good aerobic workout because, I mean, it's not like super hard work, but if you do it, it gives you a pretty good return on your investment of time, right? I think that's what we should be focused on, is spending our time and energy in ways that make sense. Alright, but and we're still in the shade for a little bit, so we'll see how far I get on this today. But every time I spend time and energy towards this, it becomes closer of what I want to see in my life. She's already way better. And now once I get this hole dug, this will sit down into the ground, we'll fill it up, we'll load it with fish, and these fish, you know, they eat the algae that grows in the water, and they poop. And so both algae and their fertilizer, their waste, is good things for gardens, right? So every garden should have a fish tank, and that fish tank water should be what is watering your plants, at least, you know, occasionally, right? And then, you know, then you give the fish the new water, right? Because might as well use it for all of its benefits. Time to change the water. I don't know if potatoes like to be flooded like that, but today that's what they get. And here at the apocalyptic ashram, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit, because like that mess right back there, the wind did that to me, right? Or did the wind do that for me? Right? Was it not in the right place? Did I not give it enough attention when I thought it should have been doing something else? You know, these are life lessons that procrastination teach us. You know, because I mean, I could do it right now, or I could do it tomorrow. But sometimes tomorrow, it gets to be the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. And that's why sometimes things turn into chaos. Because like right here, I would pick up all that cardboard, but then I would just have to lay down more cardboard when I bring the next layer of mulch in. So, I mean, even though things seem chaotic, there's actually a method to my madness. But, what's up with society, right? Where is the method to that madness? Because this shit just seems crazy somebody somewhere saying that we should go do something, right? But then we have people voluntarily supporting stupid stuff that somebody somewhere says, right? And then what if we all just stopped doing or supporting stupid stuff, right? I mean, we could probably define stupid stuff as being something that's in violation of like the golden rule, right? The simple aspect that would you want this being done to you, right? And if not, then we don't hire somebody else to do it for us. Because that's what's happening now is some people have an idea of something that they want in their life, but then they're forcing other people to pay for it or to participate. And I don't care what a person does with their time and energy, but you get to choose for you, and I get to choose for me, right? Because sometimes people are doing some pretty insane stuff, and I've been done participating in that since I was like 3, but being born into this place, there's certain expectations that are being placed upon you and indoctrinations, and in a way it worked for a little while. I mean, I was willing to join the Air Force. I thought I was saving the world, right? That's what we're doing by joining the military. We're saving the world, right? But then, if we're saving the world, why is it that there's a lot of regret in the things that we're asked to do, right? I mean, like, just because somebody somewhere says to do something, that doesn't remove the true culpability of the person doing it. See, holes are a lot like life. You just don't know how deep you're going to go, right? The benefit is, too, is the harder you work at it, the more you accomplish. And I know a lot of really capable folks that are living their lives in a very entertained way of being. It's like sports and drama and sob stories and these things take up their life. Right? It's a constant battle, and people are seemingly pretty depressed. And when people are depressed in an age where there's so much comfort and convenience, you might have to want to look at it in a different way. I mean, like what's really going on here? I mean, like if people aren't worried about where they're going to get their food, or if they're going to eat, I mean, we're not talking about when's the next time I'm going to eat a filet mignon, prepared with chef's kiss. I'm talking about food that just needs to, make a turd, fill your belly. When people aren't worried about these things, really, most folks can, within minutes, you can delivered, super quickly. Kings didn't have this level of affluence. We sleep in castles that by the push of a button, it maintains the temperature that you want. But we've provided all of these comforts at a cost. The cost has been our happiness. The cost has become our dignity. The cost has been our ability to be self-reliant. Need affordable shelter, something that they won't freeze to death in, something that they can sleep in securely, something they can store some of their items, like the things that they've collected that make their life easier. But we say we don't have enough money to put everybody into a condo or an apartment or in a hotel. Well, why do we keep funneling $1,000 a month or more into a corporate bank account instead of investing into the individual? And like this hole right here, this is big enough I could sleep in, right? And if I put this thing upside down, it would keep me dry. And maybe if I wanted to work an hour a day over the next year and a half, it might be something the size of a castle. But then you have a county code enforcer bringing a bulldozer by and saying you didn't get a permit for that, and they'll bulldoze your work, your house, your shelter. Codes and statutes and regulations, those are for corporations. They're not for us. We have common law, natural law. If you don't hurt nobody, you are not obligated to do what they say, right? I mean, if you have your little piece of property, like a squirrel, he has his little hole, and that's what he maintains, right? And he just lives. He doesn't pay any rent. But he did it. He dug the hole. He didn't hire the owl and the raven to be his boss and tax everybody to excavate a hole for the squirrel. The squirrel just dug his own hole. You got people that are afraid to dig holes, afraid to get dirty. They're afraid of everything. How is it that you're afraid of? It said, I haven't verified this, but it said that in the Bible it says, "Do not fear," 365 times. That's a strange correlation, number of years, right, or number of days in a year. So, what if these ideas that have been advertised to us have been to control us, to exploit us, to have us live so we can be controlled? I like being free. Like right now, I'm not being paid, so I'm working for free, right? And I'm achieving something that if I would have hired a contractor to come and do this little project right here, I can't imagine that they would have done it for less than $1,000. Right? I mean, and that's with me providing the materials. Now, if they had to truck in materials and haul away materials, it would probably be even more. But we're not playing that game. We're keeping everything local, the way nature works naturally. And like these rocks, I just pulled that rock out of the ground. And right, I used to run into a rock when I'm digging a hole, and I'm like, oh, another rock. Because one time over here, I was I'm setting a tire, for a retaining or like a wall, right? And there was this little rock sticking up about this far that was just in the wrong spot, right? And so I was digging, and I dug, 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 and this rock was like this big around, and I had to dig a hole on the side of it, and then I had to use a jack. It was too heavy to lift for me anyway. I mean, I'd use a jack, I'd jack it up, and then I'd pile rocks underneath it, and then I would pile rocks underneath the jack and move the jack up and get. It was quite the chore, right? But it's a cool, big, heavy-duty rock that now can be used somewhere. It could be a step, or it could be a seat, or it can be, something that is useful. And so now when I find rocks, because I mean I've built a lot of walls out of this. I don't know if you've watched the channel or not yet, but I'm building rock walls all over the place, and I'm getting pretty good at it. Um, they stay up most of the time unless you hit them with a backhoe or a truck. Don't ask me how I know that one. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Usually when I do something like this, it takes 3 or 4 shots. that's how we spend an hour and 33 minutes making the world a little bit better. It's not done, but as I get more rocks, the raised bed will be created, and as the brush and grasses are piled in there, that'll give it a good base for growing gardens. Thanks for watching.